Hi, welcome to my semester as a technical writer. I'm Evelyn Saravia, and this is my first year as a MA student in the University of Texas. A little bit about my educational history. Like I mentioned, my current program is a MA in Professional and Technical Communications. I did get my undergraduate degree from UNT as well. I got my BA in English, and I wanted to talk a little bit about why I chose technical communication. While I was really excited about getting my BA in English, I happened to take a techcomm course, and that course really started my passion for techcomm. I was really excited about what I was doing, and it combined a lot of the things that I really enjoyed, such as writing, designing, and helping in the sense that you take all this information and make it easier to digest. A little on how I got the job. I applied on ZipRecruiter.com, and it is a little bit of a funny story. The title of the job itself is for the technical writer and documentation clerk position. It is a full-time contractor job with the company Kiba Inc., and the company I work for is PPG Paints. The duration of the contract is 6 months with a possible extension at the end. When I applied for the job, I got an interview, and it was my first interview for a job in the field. I went in, everything went great. I did get a call back that I unfortunately did not get the job. However, about 2 weeks later, I got another call that the first person had left and that they wanted me to do another interview. I went in, everything went well again, and the next day I was flying out to San Francisco. At the airport, I did get a call that I had gotten the job. That was back in April, and I've been at PPG since. A little bit about PPG. It was founded in 1883 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it is a global supplier of paints, coatings, optical products, and specialty materials. What started in Pittsburgh is now in operation in over 70 countries with over 47,000 employees, and they strive to do better today than yesterday, every day. I work at one of the production plants. We say that making the paint is a little bit like making a cake, where we get the ingredients, mix them together, you'll bake it, you will decorate it or package it, then you'll send it to the consumer. My job duties are really split between 3 categories. The main category would be writing on-the-job work instructions, then it would be administrative work, and lastly, miscellaneous work. I will give an example of writing a work instruction and doing some administrative work later in the presentation, but I would like to emphasize that PPG really places an importance on safety for everyone that is working at the plant. So it's really important that all the work instructions are clear and accurate. And a lot of the administrative work I do also deals with employee training, making sure that everything is done correctly, and I do log that information into SharePoint. SharePoint is the site that we use to put all the information and documents. Everyone on the plant has access to it as well. The tools I use on a daily basis to get these things done are PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Microsoft Outlook, as well as SharePoint. I'll talk a little bit more about SharePoint on the next slide. However, other than SharePoint, Microsoft Word, and Excel are my most used tools. I've grown a lot with my skills in them just from starting the job back in April. SharePoint is our central hub where we upload all of our documents. I mostly work in 2 folders. They're going to be the EHS folder, which is for environment, health, and safety, and the OTJWI, which is our on-the-job work instruction folders. As I mentioned, this is a shared site where everyone in the plant can see and have access to. In the EHS folder, I mostly work on logging employee training. Their safety training is done monthly. They do about 5 each month, and I just make sure that we have records of that. And of course, in the on-the-job work instruction, I update the work instructions. As I update them, the plant will have access to the newest version. The main project I'm working on right now is a on-the-job work instruction for waste treatment. I broke the process into about 4 steps. The first step is revising the current work instruction. I will go back into SharePoint, look at it, and make sure that I have notes for whenever I do the second step, which is meeting with the subject matter expert. I will go set up a time with them that they're able to show me the process as if I was walking in brand new and didn't know what to do. We will go over it and I will take pictures or record whatever I need to. Then I go back to my desk and I will rewrite the work instruction. And there between 3 and 4, I might have to go back, meet with the subject matter expert again, just to make sure that everything is clear and accurate. Then I will get approval from the subject matter expert that I worked on the assignment with, and then I will go to my supervisor, Harry, and get his approval for that instruction. We refer to the out-of-date version that's in SharePoint as the old format, and then the one that we create from that is the new format. The new format is my supervisor, Harry's format. It is a Word document, and it is our new standard. So like I mentioned, I will go back to that old format, which is usually in a PowerPoint version, and I will transfer it over to the new format. While I'm doing so, I will add that information that I got from the subject matter expert just to make sure that everything is accurate and up to date. Here's another example of the current project that I'm working on. We have the old format steps and the new format steps. As you can see in the old format, it's in the PowerPoint version versus the new format in Word, and we have the steps separated in the new format with the text in the middle column and the pictures on the right. As I am working on these projects, I update my little Excel sheet that my supervisor and Harry have made. It's a way for us to communicate and stay on top of the projects. The green in the Excel sheet are projects that have been approved, and the yellow is ones that I'm drafting. There's also a section for him to write comments and for me to reply. It just helps us stay in communication throughout the process. As I mentioned, another big part of the job is administrative work. I wanted to show some examples of that as well. So here I have a BBS form picture on the left, and that is an observation sheet. In this example, somebody is observing another employee adding coolant to a tank. On the right-hand side, we have the Excel sheet, and I will take the information from the left side and I will go ahead and log it into the right side. We also have something called a 5S project. It's a monthly project that our employees do, and I have the sheet on the left that they write, and then on the right, I have the logging information. And all of this is going to be in the same spreadsheet that I work on. And we just want to make sure that we have everything documented. And right now, I believe we are in the 600s of this type of sheet. They have different categories, such as if you organize something or you paint something. And like I mentioned, I will document everything that they wrote in the paper on the right side. Lastly, in that same spreadsheet, we have our near miss cards, and those are going to be accidents that almost happened. We want to make sure that we document that because we want to avoid that. So by documenting it, we kind of try to prevent it from happening again. I believe we are also about in the 600s for this type of card as well for the year so far. And while I have been with the company for a little over 2 months now, I feel like I have gained a lot of experience and a lot of lessons with writing these processes and doing this administrative work. Some of the topics that I've learned about are content ops maturity levels, experience with SMEs, contract opportunities, working with Microsoft Office, working in SharePoint, and doing administrative work. Some of them I will go into a little bit more on the next slide. So some things that I learned about with Microsoft Office would definitely be improving my skills with Microsoft Excel. Going in, I hadn't really worked with Excel too much, and I keep finding little tricks such as adding sequences or equations into these cells that really make life a lot easier. And in SharePoint, I've learned to use it, which might be helpful in the future if another company uses the same site. Doing administrative work has been really interesting as well. It's new to me, so I've been working with filing and logging information, and I feel like that will benefit me as well in the future. Moving on to some changes and challenges. The lower maturity level of the technical writing team has really impacted me. I learned in school that most companies have a lower maturity level. Like I mentioned, the technical writing team is me and my supervisor, Harry Wind. He's just fantastic. However, he does have his own standards and formats versus some companies that have a company-wide standard. So I've had to adapt to his writing style, and I feel like that will help me in the future as well. So it has been one of my biggest challenges, just adapting to his writing style. I would also say that some changes I would like for the job to be not a contracting job, but a permanent position. However, I completely understand that that's how it is. When I was looking on ZipRecruiter, I did notice that a lot of the jobs that were available at the moment were contracting positions. Another challenge that I faced is that I was unfamiliar with the paint processes, so I had to become an expert in those before I could write on those subjects. The last challenge that I really wanted to talk about was working with SMEs. The SMEs at my job are all super wonderful and helpful. However, sometimes the scheduling is off, such as the project that I'm working on with waste treatment. The operator that is in charge of that comes in at 1:30 in the morning and he leaves around 9. I do go in around 8. So whenever I'm going in, he's almost heading out. So we don't have much time to really communicate, which is why the project has been going on a little longer than usual. But learning how to work with SMEs through all of that has been super beneficial to me. I do generally feel like I was prepared for the job. Like I mentioned, one of the biggest things is safety, and it's important to not leave anything out of the work instruction. I do often find myself thinking back to lessons I've had about plain language to write the instructions, as well as I would wish that we had a style guide like the ones I learned about in class. The program also really focuses on collaboration, which has been really helpful in not just communicating with SMEs, but knowing when to ask questions. While only 2 months of the job have passed, I feel like I have learned a lot inside and outside of the classroom. I am super grateful for my supervisor, Harry Wind, and the subject matter experts that I work with that are always really happy to help. And that has been my semester as a technical writer. Thank you.